Hi, folks. I'm here with an exciting guest, Eric Jones from Elite Landscape Services, the turf teacher himself. If you don't know him, you need to. This guy is a fountain of knowledge, and truth be told, he keeps me on point. So everybody needs a buddy, right? How you doing today, Eric?
I'm doing good. Hope you are, Kris.
Living life. So, you know, normally we roll in with a how long have you been in business and an approximate revenue. Elite and turf teacher are a unique situation. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Well, Elite Landscape Service, formerly known as Elite Landscape Service and Nursery Incorporated, a couple years ago, we dropped the nursery out of our business because we're no longer doing that. But Elite Landscape Service was formed by my parents in 1977. They built the business pretty strong. Me and my brother both grew up in the business. We worked after school, weekends, came home from college. We had to do the whole 9 yards. We worked most of our youth with our parents. And we enjoyed that. That put us to where we are today. And I went full-time. I joined the Navy right out of high school, to be honest with you. And so I kind of left for a little bit, but came back, went to college, worked all the way through college. And when I graduated college with a degree in landscape architecture, I went to work for them full-time. And when I was with them full-time, we built the business up. Everything was going good. And then, of course, you know, 9/11 happened. That was kind of the turning point for us. We lost some major clients during that time frame. And so we kind of scaled back. We scaled down from about 35 employees down to what we could manage the company with and our remaining clients. And so we were kind of on a downturn. I then immediately decided that I missed the military for some odd reason, and I enlisted in the Army Reserve.
Stupid hurts, don't it?
Yes. You know, in the meantime, you know, my brother became a GC. I did get my GC license. So we kind of had a spell, you know, where we built houses. And what my parents kind of focused on was you know, strawberries. And that kind of leads us into, I guess, kind of where we're at today anyway. But my parents had the strawberry farm. It kind of excelled our landscaping. We started in return getting clients from that. And long story short, we're here, Elite Landscape Service. We're trying to revamp it. I am U.S. Army Reserve retired. My brother's back into the business. He still has a full-time job. I still have a full-time job at the college teaching horticulture. And we're taking Elite Landscape Service and taking it to a whole new level. Where turf teacher comes into play with this is North Carolina back in 2010, 2011, started the Irrigation Contractors Licensing Board, where they were getting contractors licensed. So we got our irrigation license. And, you know, the first year we went to some seminars, you know, to renew our license. But it got to be where it was so hard to find continuing education. And we were always working, we were always in the field. It was kind of hard to do it. Well, I called the board and I said, well, the classes that I'm teaching at the college, you know, would that suffice for my personal CEUs? And they're like, yes, that would be all. I mean, yes, submit your course syllabus, your slides, and you can get your own credit that way. Well, that worked for that year. The next year I was like, well, what if I started teaching other irrigation contractors, you know, either online or face-to-face and setting up these classes? And they were like, we love it. Yes, submit your classes. And that's kind of how Turf Teacher was born. We didn't call it Turf Teacher then. We just called it Eric Jones. And in 2016, I incorporated Turf Teacher because since then, the North Carolina Landscape Contractors Board was formed. So we have two state licenses. We have the irrigation license and the landscape contractors license along with pesticides. And so I teach all three in face-to-face seminars on the weekends and do 100% online CEUs for both the landscape and the irrigation board. And that's how Turf Teacher was born, trying to find my own CEUs.
That value add to the marketplace. You know, I think it's so often overlooked about the wisdom that was gained contracting through the recession. And right before the recession, boy, it was a boom market and everybody was overextending and buying brand new fleets of trucks. And I've got a lot of respect for the outfits that have come through it. And, you know, I've got a lot of respect for people that have gone through it anyway, like whether or not they decided to fold the shop up or not. Like it was a hard time, and boy, baptism by fire.
Oh yes.
Well, I'm also very excited, and one of the reasons you're my favorite contributor on Turfs Up Radio, Eric, is the value add that you always provide, and the way that you find a force multiplier, and then you bring that not just for yourself or your company, but to everybody else in the marketplace. And like right now.
I appreciate that.
So if you can really quick in 45 seconds, tell me the services that Elite offers.
Full service maintenance. We're trying to build that aspect up full force. Our passion though is design build. We love doing the landscape design and the installation of the project, and then gaining that customer as a maintenance customer after that. So that is what we're focusing on. We're still hard at it with irrigation. We used to be really hard, and kind of what got us through that recession part, we did a lot of traveling. We got hooked up with some general contractors that were building buildings for local auto parts company. We traveled all over the Southeast doing landscape and irrigation jobs for those, and that kind of got us through that rough time. And so we love that commercial install, and we love the commercial maintenance, and then residential. So we're trying to offer full service. And I know, guys that listen to my seminars and stuff, they always say, monotonous work makes money. You got to focus on one thing and perfect it before you move on to the next. And that's really what we're doing. We're trying to perfect the maintenance side and get it built up, and then really go hard after that design build. So.
Right. Don't spread yourself too thin.
Yeah.
That's great advice, Eric. So we'll be back here in just a little bit to talk more with Eric Jones, the turf teacher himself. All right, we're back with Eric Jones, the turf teacher from Elite Landscape Services in, I'm going to butcher it. I'm not even going to try. Eric, how do you say your hometown?
Pofftown, North Carolina.
Ooh-wee. I would have mangled that. Thank you for calling my back on that.
We always have to spell it, and we always have to spell the name of the road that the shop is on. So it's unreal. But we're about 5 minutes northwest of Winston-Salem, North Carolina.
Okay. So, we covered a little bit about the history of the business and how it's evolved over the years, and how awesome the family coming together has been. Can you tell us a little bit about your ideal customer, and how about and we're talking ideal customer now for both the Elite and then the turf teacher?
Okay. Well, we'll start with turf teacher. The ideal client for turf teacher is the licensed landscape contractor or the licensed irrigation contractor. The individual or company that is needing continuing educations to renew their license. In North Carolina, the irrigation license expires 12/31. And then with the landscape license, it expires July 31st. So, July and December are my busy months with online sales. And then I do a lot of seminars. I try to do 10 to 12 seminars a year where I travel around the state. We rent conference rooms, and, these guys come and get their continuing ed, and we have a lot of fun with that. And I'm hoping that we can actually do something with Turfs Up Radio at those events, maybe doing a, live interview with some of the guys that are coming. But I range from 30 to 50 contractors that show up on one of these weekend seminars. I prefer the smaller group where we have, I've done them as small as 5 or 6. And that's when we really get involved with not only the technical side of running a landscape, talking about turf grass, talking about plant materials, but talking about how to run the business. And those guys bring in their experiences. We learn so much from each other as a collective, way more than those guys will ever learn from me standing up in front of them, lecturing for all day. It's really involved. It's really good. The good thing about this year, we've got some equipment that we're going to record all of the seminars live. We'll put it on the social media for guys, to watch, whenever and when they get a few moments. And another client that we're seeking in the turf teacher side of things is the individual that wants to get licensed. We're offering some pre-licensing courses for both pesticides, landscape, and irrigation contractor. So that's something that we're tackling hard this year. I've actually hired some people that are helping me develop content to get those courses approved by the board.
I would like to point out, guys, that Eric is a contractor, and he is then creating stuff to help essentially build this competition. And I mean, when we raise the bar in our industry, it benefits everybody. Yes. Nobody's interested in the $10 Craigslist guy that's going out hack jobbing stuff together. That's a blemish on the industry.
And that's one thing I preach in my seminars is, guys, yes, we may be competitors, but I don't want to call you a competitor. I want to call you my colleague. We're colleagues, not competitors. When we're on the same playing field, the same page, it works out so much better for the industry. And my dad's always told me, he said, son, the green industry's always had to fight a stigma of people thinking that you're in the green industry because that's the only thing you can do. Right. They don't really understand, and the general public doesn't understand that this is a true, legit profession. We are licensed professionals. We are experts in our field. And being a teacher, the one thing that I've learned from the education side of this business, there's not one individual that knows everything about the green industry. It is so broad. It is so broad. And I learn something every single day. Every day I learn something new. And that's the best thing about being in education. And I want to share that knowledge with, our clients, with our potential clients, with Turfs Up Radio, with the Digital Contractor. I mean, that's what I want to do, is share this knowledge, bring us together as a whole, and have fun with it. And like I said, don't worry about the $10 an hour Craigslist guy.
Well, it's always nice to have somebody that you can refer work to, because hardscapemarketer.com got you so busy with your ideal customer, right? Hey, shameless plug. Still have a job. All right. Well, we'll be back after a break with more from Eric Jones from Elite Landscape Services. Okay, folks, we're back with Eric Jones, the turf teacher himself. So right now we're going to talk a little bit about a marketing overview. Can you tell me, Eric, and let's focus a little bit more on Elite and what Elite has done historically for the audience here. It's a little different marketing mix. Can you tell us what types of marketing you do and like what your general mix is?
Well, back in the day, I can remember when Elite Landscape Service, we were one of the first landscape contractors in the Winston-Salem area that had a website. I mean, that was back in the day. So I was on board with that, and I wish I had known Gary Vaynerchuk back then, because I've learned a lot from him. I have. But we were one of the first contractors to have a website. I remember being in the field every day with one of the old digital cameras that you would put in the floppy disk. And
right.
I could only take like 10 pictures on a disc before it would fill up. And then I would rush back to the shop when we'd get done. I would upload it to our website, and you could see the dial-up just take forever. And it would sometimes have to process overnight. And so we could open up our website the next morning and see the pictures, but it literally took all night. And then now with our phones, all this stuff is instantaneous. So, we did a lot with that. We've done email marketing. And one of the things that really worked too, we used to be a part of a franchise system called Christmas Decor. We had a franchise for 10 years, and we excelled in the Christmas lighting business. And once I left, did the military thing again and stuff like that, Dad kind of backed away from the franchise. But we learned a lot from those guys about, direct mail. We did direct mail. We did flyers on doors. And guys, we still get a good response for flyers on doors when we have all our social media content on it. But I tell you, our number one thing that we've done besides the social media is we have every truck lettered up to the max. We look like NASCAR driving down the street, and it's got all of our social media on it. It's got the turf teacher logo with all of my social media content listed on it. And we do the same thing for Elite. My dad's is Elite Landscaper. My dad's on Snapchat, he's on Facebook, Instagram, and they're posting pics from that. So we do a lot of organic content, just stuff during the day that we do. And then we do the Facebook advertising and the Instagram paid advertising. And what helped us the most, we still do the strawberry farm. We could post a pic on our strawberry page about landscaping, and it just blows up. We'll start getting the calls because people know us as the strawberry farmer. Oh, y'all do landscaping too? And so they feed off of each other. And so we work back and forth with each social media site on the strawberry farm and Elite and Turf Teacher. So I know, again, I said focus on one thing and do it well. Monotonous work makes money, but we have a lot of irons in the fire. So,
well, once you've built that know, like, and trust factor, you need to capitalize on it.
Yeah.
Like you did with the strawberry farm. So sounds like trucks are driving a lot of leads for you. What would you say drives the most profitable leads for you? Because having 100 leads that you ain't going to get, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I'll say the marketing that we do with our Christmas lighting business always drives the landscape sales. If we can sell them a Christmas light install, we're going to capitalize on it and get some type of landscape work, whether it be an irrigation job, whether it be a rip out the new, old foundation and do a new install on the foundation, or we get a maintenance contract from it. So all of our marketing that we use within the Christmas lighting side of things always turns into a landscape lead. I mean, a sale. It really does.
So do you structure your pricing for the Christmas lights around that? Use it as a loss leader, or you don't? You keep it profitable. You're making money on that. It's a standalone.
Profitable. Yeah, the Christmas lighting business is profitable. It really does well for us. It can get a little dangerous getting up on some of these roofs, but we got guys that can walk a roof and they throw the rope and the harness on and they're good to go. But we have an aerial lift too, so tow behind that gets a lot of that stuff for us. But
I'm jealous. I can't wait to come out and shoot some content on top of that dang thing.
Yes, yeah.
We'll just slackline off of it, right?
Yeah.
That's good. So what marketing efforts have you stopped in the last year or 2 years because they're just not paying the dividends that they used to?
The direct mail.
Mail.
We no longer do that anymore. I'd rather take that money for what that cost and put it in Facebook advertising. We're doing Facebook advertising right now for the Christmas again, and it's an extreme success. Like I said, you're not going to sell everything, and you're going to get the people that are fishing, wanting another price, but the ones that we do sell, it makes up for it. So.
Right. Direct mail. Yeah, I've noticed a lot of people go away from direct mail these days, or they use it in conjunction with another plan. I think it certainly has its place, but again, where are you located geographically too? You know, like San Francisco might not because of the tech center of the West Coast, but maybe. So when you're designing your plans like that, how much effort do you put into collecting content and then like promotional photos around your Christmas jobs? Well,
with our Christmas jobs, we're always keep a camera in the truck. We're always back at night. We're taking pictures. So a lot, 99% of the stuff we have is our photos. But like last week, we were doing a commercial job. I went live Facebook several times of my guys in the trees, branch wrapping the trees, and that gets a lot of interest. I recently started a TikTok account. I've been putting up Christmas decorating tips on it, and my little girls are just beyond belief that their father has a TikTok account, but one video got 15,000 views in like 2 days. They could not stand it. But what I try to do, Kris, is I'm a firm believer in not trying to sell on the social media, but to educate and inform our clients. I put that little video up on all the social media about how to wrap the Christmas lights in a tight little ball for storage. It makes it for ease next year, reusing those lights again. And that's what people want to know. That's what they want to hear. They don't want to hear 10% off the Christmas light install. They want to see us doing the job. They want to get our tips and tricks. And the next thing you know, the phone calls. They're like, hey, can you come out and give us a quote doing it? Just like,
well, content contextual to the audience, right? That was a big thing I learned from watching Gary Vee.
Yes.
Much love, big guy. Like,
Yep.
you're not putting the same stuff on TikTok that you're putting on Instagram or Facebook, right?
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
And you have to tailor it. You know, each site you have to tailor. Like Gary said, you need to be producing content for all the demographics. You know, the younger people, the older people, the middle-aged people, the individual that just bought a house, the individual that's getting ready to sell. I mean, look at how many demographics that could possibly hire landscape services, Christmas services. I mean, it's across the board.
Yeah. Tons of info. Thank you so much. We're going to be right back after this break. We're here with Eric Jones from Elite Landscaping, or Landscape Services, excuse me, who loves to make me do post-production editing, which is awesome. Appreciate you, big guy. Tell us a little bit about a standout project or a cause in your community that's near and dear to your heart.
Well, one thing that's always been dear to our heart is we decorate the Ronald McDonald House with Christmas lights every year. That's got us a lot of publicity. But we didn't do it for that. We would do that no matter what. But it's just kind of, and as a parent, when you see other parents kind of going through something like that, the least we can do is try to bring some type of joy for the holidays to them by, decorating. We do roof lights there. We do tree lighting. We do a bunch of lit garland, lit wreaths, and the families are just so tickled with that, and they'll come out and talk to us. And I couldn't imagine going through what they're going through with having a child that's sick. And so my dad really feels good about doing that, and he makes sure that we do that. Another thing that we're proud of is that starting next year we're going to decorate a deployed soldier's house. We're going to start advertising for that early, and we're going to go and decorate that, no charge to them, and try to brighten their holidays, because you and I both know what it's like to be gone over the holidays. And we're just, trying to help them out. So you'll see a lot of that from Elite Landscape Service coming up. And, we did join up at GIE, and through Turfs Up Radio, that we're going to start, mowing a lawn for, a deployed soldier, or doing snow removal services. Unfortunately, we don't get that much snow here. But our closest military base is Fort Bragg. And we're looking forward to working with Project Evergreen and taking care of, a deployed soldier's family. So,
real quick, what are the best ways for people to help out with both the Ronald McDonald House and Project Evergreen?
Project Evergreen, go to their website, and there's stuff on Turfs Up Radio about it. Check them out. And then with Ronald McDonald House, just, go to their website and just tell them you want to volunteer. They, not only with the Christmas light side, but, they have volunteer days that we've been over there and, just kind of helped cleaned up, rake leaves or whatever. So they're always looking for volunteers. And, when you go, man, sport your landscape company's t-shirts, drive up in your truck. I mean, people appreciate that, and you won't believe the publicity and business that comes from that. But again, don't do it for that reason. You got to want to do that. And as a green industry, we need to give back, so.
100%. That's awesome. I love to hear good guys doing good things in the community. We'll be right back after this break. All right, folks, we're back to focus on digital marketing right now. Imagine that, the Digital Contractor show with the turf teacher himself, Eric Jones. I think he and I are both huge Gary Vee fans. And let's start this off, because in contracting, your reputation's everything. And, word of mouth is how you hear guys getting a lot of work. Online reviews are the new digital word of mouth.
Yeah.
Eric, what do you got going on? And I know a little bit, but I don't want to spoil it for the audience here. What do you got going on to attract new online reviews?
Well, content. And to be honest with you, I probably need to get a little more help when it comes to getting the online reviews. And so we're looking at that now. But when it comes to putting content out every day, I try to stay focused on it. I try to plan it out the night before, what I'm going to post, what I'm going to post about. I look at the job sites that the guys are going to be at. I look at my classes that I've got coming up. And that's kind of what we focus hard on. But I'll be the first to admit we need help with online reviews. We don't have any bad ones, but we need some help getting some good ones out there. So.
Well, and I would like to point out there's a difference between a review on Google or Facebook or another platform. A difference between that and a testimonial. Testimonial is nice. You know, it's always nice to have somebody saying nice things about you and your business, but it's not a ranking factor for the search engines.
Gotcha.
You know, so when people actually search for you in Google and your Google My Business listing comes up and you've got one on there, but 20 testimonials on your website, nobody cares. Does that make sense? Like it's not helping your rank. And you guys are so awesome. I don't say this to everybody, but you guys are so awesome that it's not going to be an issue getting people to say nice things about you online. We just need to implement a process that gets that going. And we've got software at Hardscape Marketer that'll set you up sweet. That's part of the bid I'm sending you to, Bubba.
Gotcha.
I'm going to hit you up. So I don't want to spend a lot of time on the rest of the digital stuff. I want to focus with you and really drill down on social. If you can just touch briefly, and I mean 30 seconds each, on what you do for follow-up marketing once you've got a customer. And you know what, you've already talked about email marketing, but let's talk really quick. You've got a customer, how do you follow up with them? And then we'll roll right into social.
Well, when we do a Facebook ad, you know, I'll be honest with you, they don't call us. They always send us a direct message or a Facebook Messenger post. So we've got somebody in the office that responds quickly. It's either me, my brother, or my dad. We respond really quick. We go out and we do the quote. We do our quotes out there with Jobber in the field and email it to them right there. I usually will either send a follow-up email that evening with just my contact information. Hey, if you got any questions, give me a call back. People will reply and say, hey, I appreciate that. And that's pretty much all we have to do, Kris. You know, I have to.
So you're not touching your list or past customers. You're not sending any of that stuff out.
Oh no, we'll send out like a newsletter to our existing clients and kind of let them know what they're doing. And that's pretty much how we stay in touch with them when we print the invoices and send them out, or you know, some we still have to print the invoices and send it to. But the ones that we're emailing, you know, we attach a little electronic newsletter for them, kind of let them know what's coming up, what we're offering this time of year, things of that nature.
All right, jump in for those of our audience that aren't familiar with Gary Vee's content model. Jump in and just rip it apart in the next 3 minutes. Let's hear it. What do you got going on?
What do I have got going on
for social? Like what's your strategy? How you hitting it hard? How you winning?
Well, and I'll be honest with you, I'm really focusing on the turf teacher side because I think that's going to benefit not only turf teacher, but it also benefits Elite Landscape Service because we're using turf teacher at Elite Landscape Service. But my content strategy, guys, I'm starting in January. We're going to do a plant of the day where we're going to talk about a particular plant. So again, it's educate. We're documenting what we're doing. We're going to talk about, you know, the struggle of rebuilding a business, the struggle of you know, doing what we're doing from starting over to getting to where we're at. But I'm truly blessed to be in the education field because I'm always learning. The content that I'm producing for my students here, I'm turning around and I'm giving it back to the community. I'm giving it back to our social community. So that plant of the day, we're going to start doing tips of the day. We're going to post, you know, 9 to 10 times a day on each social media account. And I know that sounds like that's a lot, but if you'd watched Gary Vee's video that he put up a couple of days ago, talking about not everybody sees every piece of content that you post. That's why you've got to post so many times a day. And the only people that are going to get tired of you posting are the ones that follow you so closely. And they're the ones that's going to see every piece of content. But to get your name out there, you've got to post. His $1.80 cent strategy. If you remember him talking about that, Kris, I'm a true believer in that. You know, post minimum 9 times a day, your 2 cents with 8 to 10 different hashtags will get you the organic followers. And you keep producing that organic content. Next thing you know, somebody's going to give you a call or they're going to send you that direct message. Hey, can you come out and give us a quote?
I like to use my Instagram feed in particular as long tail branding, and then I'll post more stories.
Yeah.
Or like I've got a 4-post rotation on Instagram that keeps my cadence visually curated. And like Facebook, I don't like whatever. I'll post whenever because it's not an in-your-face visual feed like that.
Yeah.
But do you mix it up quite a bit then? Out of those 9 posts, are they all feed posts, or are you doing stories? I know you do a ton of stories, but in your mix that you're starting.
I do a ton of stories, and to be honest with you, you can tell days that we get too busy and we don't have the time to post. It just gets crazy. But yeah, I'm a big fan of the stories. And again, that's why I love TikTok, because that TikTok can go right to your Snapchat, right to your Instagram story, right to your Facebook story. It's a time saver. And that's kind of why I looked at the TikTok, because, those short 1-minute videos, keep people's attention, let them know that you're there, but you don't want to bog them down with, a 5-minute video 10 times a day. You want that quick story that you can get from those.
And just real quick before we go to the break, guys, if you think TikTok is not important, it's big business. Like, you need to give it serious thought. A, it'll give you something to bond with your children, and B, professional baseball's thinking about it. Their minor league baseball is pushing clubs to do it. So like, it's a serious thing being considered by serious people. And I would encourage everybody to at least look at it. And like you said, you could rip that content out and distribute it everywhere. Force multiplier. Yeah. All right. We'll be back after this break with even more from Eric Jones, the turf teacher. Well, we're back with some hindsight from Eric Jones, the turf teacher, running Elite Landscape Services. So here's what we talk about: all the times you've been hit in the face and, coming up. And I think that's the best time and some of the best experience to give guys that are, looking to next level their business and all of that jazz. Like, if you've never been hit in the face, you just haven't been doing it long enough. Can you tell me the top 3 things about marketing that you wish you knew when you started?
When I started, I wish I'd have looked more into Google AdWords.
Yeah.
Second, I wish I would have bought more landscape website domains. I wish I would have reserved those names for Elite Landscape Service. I mean, we have elitelandscapeservice.com, but there were a lot of other websites that I wish we could have kind of gobbled up. And then I guess probably thirdly, I wish I would have been on Twitter a little bit more stronger when it was in its heyday, because that would have just led you into Facebook to Instagram to Snapchat. It would have just built the foundation for the social media network. And if I had to do it all over again, I would have stuck with that, because we were on point with our website, and we kind of let that fade away when me and my brother kind of stepped away from the business. So if we would have stayed longer, jumped in on those 3 hard and heavy.
What's the biggest marketing mistake that you've ever made? And that could be biggest ad spend. I know a contractor that spent $6,000 to sponsor a radio show and got nothing out of it. Something like that.
Probably the Yellow Page ad.
Yellow Page ad. Yeah.
Again, that was back in the day. But if we'd have took that money and used it another way, because we had one of the biggest ads, we had to do it. I was gung ho. I'm like, we got to be out here. We've got to do this. And that was the days before the social media. But
those ads weren't cheap.
No. I mean, we were spending somewhere up $2,000 to $3,000 a month on some of those, and you're locked in for a year. It just wasn't worth it. It wasn't worth it. In those days, we'd have been probably better off doing radio or TV.
Yeah. Well, I certainly think radio's got a mix. It just depends on where you are and what you're doing in the station. And advertising on Turf Sub Radio is a great idea.
Yeah. Well, everybody, and Gary Vee preaches this, audio is the next big thing. The podcast, the radio station. People are so busy right now. We're even hearing that you need to have an Alexa voice skill for your landscape company. Hey, Alexa, I need my grass cut. And if you're that first contractor that has that Alexa voice skill, you're going to be the one that's contacted.
So what was the biggest marketing happy accident in your career?
I'd probably have to say we did a press release on a whim. I typed them up. I sent it to every newspaper. I sent it to every radio station. I sent it to the local TV station. I mean, it just worked. I mean, we started getting phone calls. Hey, we'd like to come out and do a story on you. And that, it cost me $0. Cost me $0. You know, we sent out a press release that we're doing Christmas lights. Next thing you know, news channels are calling us, the paper's calling us, radio's calling us, and it just worked out. I didn't think it would, but it did. It did.
Earned media. Yeah, there's nothing better than earned media. Holy cow. Yeah. So this next question, I'd like you to spend some time. I saved the lion's share of this time for it. What do you say to the owner of a contracting business that's looking to the next level? He's stuck, he's pulling his hair out, and he just needs to focus and needs that outside the box insight?
We got to find the right people. So many contractors try to wear every single hat, you know, and you hear the term, you know, work on your business, not in it. And I think we all need to focus on that. We're so, for one, somebody that starts a business and becomes an entrepreneur, they feel like they have to have their hands in everything. They have to kind of be that micromanager. Sometimes you got to relinquish a little bit of that control and trust in your employees. Give the employee that chance to succeed or fail. And if they fail, to learn from it. And you've got to find that leadership within your company to take some of the weight off your shoulders. And not try to do every single thing. You know, I've watched my dad do that his entire career. He does not want to give up certain control of certain things. And he'd been better off if he'd have let an employee do it and kind of take it and run with it. Yes, you might spend a little extra money, but you've got to put faith in your employees. You've got to be that HR employer and care about your employees, and give them a chance to fail and succeed with you and learn from their mistakes. And that's hard for a young contractor starting out to kind of face, hey, I might lose some money if I let this person do it. But that's the only way you're going to do it. I mean, you can't do everything. You can't be everywhere. You cannot do every single thing in this industry. You can't be the accountant doing payroll at night. You can't be doing the estimates in the morning. You've got to hire it done. And I know everybody's always complaining about we can't find good help. And I tell this to my guys in the seminars, and we had a meeting on it here this morning. In our county here in Winston-Salem, they're expecting around 3,800 high school graduates this coming May. I mean, we're here at Christmas time, but we're already talking about graduates in May from high school. They're saying upwards of 40% do not have a plan, whether they're not going in the military or going to college or going to community college. 40% of those 3,800 students don't have a plan. So why are companies not focusing on high school students as their source of employment? If your local high school has a horticulture program or an agriculture program, and if you're in the green industry, you need to be talking to that guidance counselor, and you need to be at that high school saying, hey, we're hiring. Because that is our future. That's what's going to kind of get us over this labor burden. And once you get 2 or 3 high school students that are happy with you, they tell their buddies, the next thing you know, they want to work for you. But 40% not having a plan.
That is scary. Well, and I think that the kids graduating right now are so overlooked. Like, they have the ability to solve problems at a level because, you know, they're native users to Google. They know how to research things, and they do it quickly. Watch YouTube videos, you know, and all that stuff. But I think they're very often overlooked, and so much of them really like to work hard. That's great advice. Work on your business, not in it. We'll be right back after this show with some more from Eric Jones, Turf Teacher. Excuse me, after this break. We're back with Eric Jones, the Turf Teacher. and we're going to hit them real quick with any additional nuggets of wisdom or insight that you would like to share, and then how our listeners can get a hold of you.
All right. I want to see us come together more as an industry, again, become colleagues, not competitors. And we're starting to see that. And to hear my dad talk about the way it was when he first got started, everybody kind of fought for work. Now it seems like, especially going to the Green Industry Expo and now being a part of Turfs Up Radio, we're coming together as a family. Guys, we can learn so much from each other. And I want to be not only your guys' role model, but I want to be your failure model. I want to tell you the mistakes that I've made because I don't want you to make them either when it comes to pricing, bidding, any of that things. So we've got to stick together. We've got to form local associations, whether it be, county level, city level, depending on where you're at, but you need to be a part of some type of green industry organization locally and come together on pricing, come together on topics of that nature and help each other build the business, learn from each other, and don't fight it. And again, there's going to be people that don't want to be a part of it, don't want anything to do with it, but we need to start learning from each other and becoming colleagues, not competitors.
And where can they get a hold of you? I mean, you're super active on everything. What's best case for you? What are you the most responsive on?
Probably more responsive on Instagram than anything right now. My Instagram handle is Turf Teacher. I'm Turf Teacher on all social media sites. The website's turfteacher.com. We're working on a new podcast right now that we're going to get started at the first of the year. So, hopefully you guys can catch that. I've got the Turfs Up Radio show coming up, keeping up with Mr. Jones, the Turf Teacher. So I'm looking forward to that. Guys, send me a direct message on any of the social media sites, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. The Turf Teacher was available on TikTok. So, we're
going to have to do a TikTok collab.
Yes.
Guys,
I'm up late. So I take phone calls from my clients, the Turf Teacher clients at midnight. I know these guys are working during the day and they need questions answered. I'm there for them, and you have to be.
Well, I'm Kris from hardscapemarketer.com, your host of the Digital Contractor Show with the awesome Eric Jones, the Turf Teacher himself. Much love, man. I appreciate you, and I know you carved some time out of your day to be with us, and you've got to run off to another meeting. All right, thanks, Eric. I appreciate you, and I appreciate you, audience. Much love.
All right, thanks, man. See you. Bye.